The family that prays together stays together. Welcome to our program. I'm Seminarian John Peter Mutugi from the Catholic Diocese of Embu, schooling in St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary. Our theme of reflection today is on the devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, or rather, in other words, the promises our Lord made to Sister Amelia Loque on those who give recourse to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. First and foremost, the Sacred Heart of Jesus is a devotion, and the Catholic Church has many devotions. But among the many devotions, the devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus is among the most popular, widely known, and widely practiced. It began in the ancient church, but especially in the Cistercian monasteries and in the Benedictine monasteries. However, this devotion gained its formal root with Sister Mary Roque of France in the 17th century, whereby she had many apparitions with our Lord Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ himself promised her on those who give recourse to the Sacred Heart of Jesus that he would grant them with special favors. However, what do we mean when we talk about the Sacred Heart of Jesus? Particularly, we are focused with the love, because many times when we talk about the heart, we mean about the love. We know at the cross when he was pierced, water and blood came out. And that means when we devote ourselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, we give back to the Lord what he gave us first, and that is love. We know even very well when a man is proposing to a lady, many times he beats his chest, as a sign of love. And especially when we are talking about the Sacred Heart of Jesus, then what we are saying is that Christ loved us first, and therefore we should love him. And therefore, going to our topic, what did Jesus tell Sister Mary Roque on those who devote themselves to the Sacred Heart? There are 12 promises. However, I'm going to mention 5, which I found very, very intriguing in my heart. Number 1, those who devote themselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Jesus said that he is going to write their names in his heart. You can imagine this, being in the heart of our Lord Jesus Christ. And therefore, I think it is the high time we devote ourselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Number 2, those who give recourse to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Jesus will grant the families with peace. You can imagine the many wrangles and hatred going on in the world today. So that means if we give recourse to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, then I'm sure he is going to grant us with peace. Number 3, those who devote themselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, he said, if they receive communion on the first Friday of the month, Jesus is going to grant them with the grace of death. That means they are going to die in grace. And of course, if we die in grace, I'm sure we are going to meet our Lord. And therefore, I think this is a devotion we all need to give recourse to. Number 4, those who are going to give recourse to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, he will immerse their hearts in his mercy. I'm sure every one of us needs the mercy of God. We are all sinners, and that is why Pope Francis says we need the mercy of God always. And therefore, I think we can always experience the mercy of God through his Sacred Heart. And finally, those who are going to devote themselves to the Sacred Heart, God will give them the grace of reaching out to hardened hearts. You can imagine those hearts that don't listen to God. But anytime we devote ourselves to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, God is going to give us the grace to reach to those hearts. Finally, when I'm finishing on this reflection, the church has given us the day of celebrating this feast. Normally, the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus is celebrated on the 3rd Friday after the Feast of the Pentecost. So anytime we celebrate Pentecost, the 3rd Friday after that, the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus comes. And in every week, the first Friday of the month, it is a Friday dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. How I pray that we all devote ourselves to this devotion. And of course, we shall see the merits and the favors God is going to grant us. Surely the family that prays together stays together.